Hello everyone, my name is Alma Rosa. I'm a freelance fashion photographer based in London, exploring the artistic and quirky sides of photography. My work currently focuses on colorful and distorted images, looking into cultures, identity, and gender performance. Today I will show you how to take creative self-portraits at home in a minimal space and with minimal equipment. I will delve into camera settings, equipment needed, and how to build your own world, just using yourself as a subject. Through my self-portraits, I love to create new characters and personas, so I use a lot of props, loads of wigs, sunglasses. I have loads of sunglasses, I adore glasses. I have hats, scarves, gloves, anything I can find in charity shops that inspire me to create new characters. For today's session, I borrowed some garments from designers such as Ollie Hall, who paints on fabrics and on his own clothes. He also paints some clothes that he finds in charity shops, and I love his work. I feel so inspired by it. I will also be wearing garments from Elizabeth Whitley, who has very colorful and very girly clothes, which I adore as well. So I'm very excited today to create two girly and quirky characters using her clothes. I will also wear Hare Krishnan's inflatable latex pants, which shapes are super amazing. And I really feel like his pants really take you to a whole different world. So I'm excited to wear them today. Finally, I borrowed some bags from Clara Chu, which are so creative, and I thought these bags would go really well with the clothes I borrowed for today. I love the mask bags. I feel like they're so 2020, 2021, so they're so in trend right now. In terms of equipment for today's session, I will use my remote control and its receiver, my newer flash, my Godox V1 flash, some accessories for the Godox flash, my Godox trigger, these two receivers for my newer headlights, my Godox flash stand, my fisheye lens, my Sigma lens, which I'm using right now to film this introduction video, color gels, my tethering cable, my camera, which I'm currently using to film this introduction video as well. It's a Nikon D810 and Capture One. Let's get started! So the first two lights that we're gonna use for today's first look are the newer headlights. They're the N300W. I've had these for about 2-3 years and I love using them to either bounce on the ceiling or to use with softboxes. So I have one softbox built already, but I'll show you how to build another one, which could be tricky at times. You have to be quite strong. So first, you take the reflective part of the softbox, then you have the piece that's gonna be attached to the lights that you have to put in the center of the softbox. And you have those 4 sticks that are to put on each corner of the softbox. And voila! So then you want to add the diffuser. I mean, you don't have to, but it's to diffuse the light even more inside the softbox. And then you have the other diffuser that you put on top. It's just like it attaches to the softbox using Velcro, which is quite nice. And yeah, here you go, 2 softboxes. Attach the softbox like this, and then you just screw it on to just secure it. And I just attach the receptor here, make sure it's on the correct channel, same channel as your trigger, and then the cable. I will now show you how to build the backdrop stand.
So this is how I set my lights. So this is what I see in front of me when I take self-portraits with softboxes. This is the setting, so softbox number 1, and then the stool with the backdrop, and then the second one. They're both set on 10. I have the trigger for the remote, and then I have the trigger for the flashes.
And now let's get into character. Ta-da! Now follow me for the makeup. So for the makeup, I love to exaggerate the looks. I really like to dramatize the contouring. So that's why I put too much makeup on here, especially the cheeks, to make them dramatic. I think that's the word. And also with makeup and photography, you have to know when you're using flash, you're not going to see the same makeup that you see with your bare eyes. So you have to always put more than what you see. So that's why I exaggerate all the time. And then my favorite part is to have bigger lips. What I do is I just exaggerate and go way bigger than my lip lines. And then I usually keep my eyes like that. I already have eyeliner and mascara. I think that's enough, especially because I use a lot of sunglasses and glasses in my photos, so I don't want to focus on the eyes at all. So what's good about Capture One here is that you can see your camera settings here in this area. So you've got the name of the camera, and then you have the setting. So for this series of picture, for look 1, my ISO is 125, my aperture is 6.3, and my speed is 200 of a second. To check whether the image is in focus, you can just click and hold, and then you see a zoomed version of your photo, which is always good. I love to just put it on the face of the subject I photograph, just to make sure that the face is in focus, and then the rest seems pretty good as well. So I think I'm happy with look 1. Let's go into look number 2. For look number 2, I'm going to recreate a photo I did a few months ago, which won one prize and was published on BBC. So it's basically going to be me sitting by the window and having the camera on my balcony and the green screen behind me in the living room. For this photo, I use natural light. My settings are quite low, so I'm on 80 for speed, 4.5. I think ISO is the same, yeah, ISO 125. Still have the trigger for the remote. I switched the flash trigger off. let's go into look number 3.
For look number 3, I'm going to use this flash head and then just bounce it on the ceiling. So for this look, the settings are here. So ISO is 250, speed is 1/60th of a second, and then f-stop is 5. So what I like about this lighting is that it bounces the light from the ceiling and spreads it evenly throughout the room. So you have the same lighting going on the wall and on the subject. And it's not a flat line, so you can still see some shadows underneath here because once again it's bouncing from the ceiling, so obviously you will have a tiny bit, very soft shadows and some contrast, which I really like. You can see the garments really well.
Look 4. For look number 4, I'm gonna use my go-to lighting when I take self-portraits. I always use my red head continuous light front on, so it gets rid of the shadows. And the settings for this look was speed was at 125, f-stop was at 4, and ISO 250. Look number 5.
So for look 5, I'm using my flash stand with my Godox flash. So for the light I want to create, I'm going to use this snoot, which comes with the Godox flash in its accessories box. So then I'm just going to place it on top of it like this, and it's going to create a round shape around the subject. I'm also using my newer flash, which I put on the flash stand. And then I'm going to use this red gel and put it on top of my newer lights. And I'm going to bounce the lights to the ceiling, so then it gives a nice red color around the subject. And I just secured it with a rubber band, as you can see.
So to inflate those trousers, you need this air pump. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt a hairstyle now and not use a wig for this one.
Final look.
For this look, I'm gonna use this big Octa, which is an umbrella. Have to put it on the flash like this. So you can either use it just like this, or you can use a diffuser, so then your Octa becomes a massive softbox.
So the settings for this look is speed 30th of a second, ISO 800, and f-stop here is 0 because it's a manual lens, so I have to adjust it on the lens, which is the fisheye lens. So the aperture here was on 11.
Thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you liked it, and hope you're gonna create some wonderful self-portraits now. Bye!
Hi, my name is Alma. So thank you for just watching my video. Hope you liked it. So I'm here to now answer some of your questions. So I can see that some of you already did ask some questions. So the first one is from Susanna. So obviously this was pre-recorded, and you're able to rewatch it on demand for 30 days from today. Renee, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing any names. I'm not doing this on purpose. But Renee is asking, how are you activating the camera? So I do have a remote control, and I have the receiver that is attached to the camera. So basically you just put it on top of the camera like this, and then you plug this into the camera as well. And so these two are connected. So if you hold this while taking the photos, while posing, etc., then you can activate the shutter, and then you take all the pictures. So if you rewatch the video, you can see that I'm holding the remote and I'm doing my best to hide the remote in like all the props and everything. Charlotte asked, why do you use Capture One over Lightroom? And thank you for loving my images. So I use Capture One because I think it's faster than Lightroom. I used to tether my camera to Lightroom before, but it was quite slow, and I was told one day on a shoot, a campaign shoot, that Capture One was way better, so I decided to go with Capture One. And yeah, I feel comfortable with Capture One, and from that moment that person told me that Capture One was better than Lightroom, I just decided to just use Capture One, and I just use Lightroom to edit my photos, to select which photos I want to edit, and then go into Photoshop. Then Katie asked, have you ever recreated fictional characters or celebrities in your self-portraits? Also, why do you use yourself as the model? So I've recreated my imaginative characters, but I never recreated any characters that are fictional from movies or cartoons or books or anything. And I should probably do that, but I don't know, because I'm not that into the makeup and everything. So it's more about expanding my creativity and creating my own characters rather than recreating some characters that already exist. And why do you use myself? So I've been using myself since I was like 10, 12, just as a just to play around and stuff, because I was very attracted by photography and loved using cameras. So I just used myself because I didn't know what photography was at the time, and then started using my friends. And at 16, I used myself more professionally, and I think using myself is a way to, as I said before, expand my creativity, and just do whatever I want, really. Just use all the props I want, just dress however I want, because sometimes I found that on shoots with models or other people, that people really judge my creativity and my art direction and everything. So yeah, I think that's the main reason why I use myself. It's not because I adore myself, it's just because I just want to experiment the way I want to experiment. Oh god, so many new ones. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments. Abigail asked, where do you get your products inspo for your image? So the products, I guess that's as props. So I get them from charity shops, like cheap shops, like Poundland, for example. I'm not ashamed of saying that. I also order online sometimes, but yeah, I love charity shops because you can find very old props. Inspo for my images, I think it's just, when I sleep, or I don't know, everywhere really, like online, of course, Instagram, all social media, all these fashion websites. And I think, yeah, especially within fashion and all those great designers and great artists that are around, and painters, etc., etc. Thank you. So Jonathan asks, how do you focus? So basically on my remote, you can hold just halfway down, so that it does focus on the lens, and then you just click and then you take the picture. So the remote control does it all. Kathy, hi. How do you change the backgrounds? Are you using layers? Is it very time confusing? So I changed the backgrounds in Photoshop. So I just cut myself or the subject out of the photo, and then just collage things together to create new backgrounds, or I found backgrounds online. If you do that, please make sure that the images you use are royalty free, so they're not copyrighted, so you have the rights to use them. Yes, I use layers, and no, it's not confusing. It's time consuming. So you just have to know what you want to do. But it's a lot of fun. Maria Paz, do you have a picture in your head before you do them, or do you improvise as you go? So I usually do improvise as I go. For this video, I had to kind of plan a bit more because of time, and because I was filming myself, and I usually don't film myself while I take self-portraits. So, but usually, so what I do is I would find and buy a new prop or a new shirt or dress in charity shops, and I would be like, okay, I want to do something with this. I want to do a self-portrait with this. So I don't know, my brain just imagines a whole world around this one element, like one thing that I find, and then it just comes together. Then I just take all of my other props out, all of my wigs, all my clothes, and I see what kind of things I can put together to create the characters I want to recreate. But I don't really come in, like, I don't really plan my self-portraits. It just comes like this. I'm like, okay, today I'm going to take self-portraits and I'm just going to play. It's playing dress up, basically. It's going to your room, you know, picking things up and just putting them on you and posing, basically. So yeah, it's improvising a lot. Amy asks, which photographers inspire you and your work? So my main inspiration is Tim Walker, for his creative world, imagination, etc. I really like how he has many different dimensions, and he's so creative. I really love his work. I really love Annie Leibovitz as well, for the same reasons of like, her work is very fantastic, and she goes into different worlds as well. And I really love Nadia Lee Cohen as well. I really like how she, like, her different representations of women, and her lighting is very 50s. It is amazingly well executed. So I love her work as well. And I think these are my three main ones. They must be other ones, but I really like Sally Mann as well. I started doing photography by taking black and white portraits of people. So I really like Sally Mann as well. Maria Paz, what remote do you use? So I just bought this from Amazon, really. I use the Mayin. I don't know if you can read. Yeah, it's really great. I would recommend. It uses batteries, so like these, but it just lasts forever. I've had this for 2 years now, and I haven't had to change the batteries yet. So it's a great one. So if you want to get it, get it. Thank you for your nice messages. Katie, what advice would you give to photographers who are looking to explore self-portraiture? Just be you. So that's my number one advice in photography in general. Just be you. So especially if you want to do self-portraits, just express yourself. Do things you really want to do. Don't think about other people or what people are going to think. just go with the flow, go with your mind, with your creative mind, and then you will succeed, because that's what works. Thank you. Yeah, I think these are all the questions. And also one thing that I personally found while taking self-portraits is that because I used my own creativity, and I went fully out and just wanted to be me, I got a lot of jobs out of that. So now most of my clients, if not all of my clients, are now asking me to recreate the same styles as I do in my self-portraits. So I think it's great to go there first, or do both. Do like shoots with other people, and then do portraits. So you can explore your style, you can develop your own style, and so people will hire you for that. And one example, for example, during the pandemic, so in April last year, of course, because we were stuck at home, I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to work. I can't work anymore. We can't go to shoots or anything. So I decided to email clients and be like, okay, here are some self-portraits I took in the recent years or year. This is what I can do with myself. So if you have any, if you need any photos, and if you like the style of my self-portraits, then you can send me, then I can work for you, and I can take photos with wearing your clothes, and we can do a campaign out of this. And I was not expecting a lot from that, but one brand came back to me, the Ragged Priest, and asked me to do 4 self-portraits. And actually they saw that I did a video. Well, I just did a funny video, like a lockdown video of me skiing in my room, and they saw that, and they were like, oh, we want you to recreate that as well as the photos. So then again, it goes back to the fact that if you're you, and in your creativity you just translate yourself and your imagination within your work, then you can go places, and you can get more jobs, etc., etc. So I would recommend. Maria Paz, what do you do most of the work in camera or in post? So obviously, like, without the camera, there wouldn't be a photo. So the camera. So basically, in terms of time, I spend about 3 to 4 hours doing a self-portrait, and then I spend from 40 minutes to 2 hours per photo. So again, it depends on the editing. If I replace the background, then it might take 2 hours, especially if I collage different elements to create a background, then it would take a good 2 hours, and color grading and everything. So I think at the moment, with my style of 2020, 2021, I would say that post-production takes me the most work and most amount of time. But I think and I feel that doing the self-portrait, like, setting everything up, the lighting, the camera, posing, etc., that takes a while. So I'd say, like, when I say usually my self-portraits take 3 hours to 4 hours, it's usually when I have like two looks maybe. So for example, this video that you just watched took me over 2 days to do all of that, and then it took me 2 or 3 days to edit all the photos. So yeah, it's a mix of both, but it depends. If I don't edit a lot, then it won't take much.
But again, I feel like there's no photo without the camera. So the camera does a lot of work. But I also, in terms of brightness and colors, I tend to do a lot in post as well. I mean, in terms just brightness and contrast, I like to change that a little bit on Photoshop or on Lightroom. So I think that's it for the questions. What else can I talk about? So yeah, so the fact that I didn't include any planning or any mood board in my video is, as I said, is because I don't plan my photo shoots in advance. And for this one, even if it was a bit planned, I thought I think it's way more natural to just go with the flow and see this wig over there and be like, okay, I'll pick this up and put it on and see what it does. Because you can see as well in the video, at one point I'm like, no, I do not like this look. And then I change everything. I change my hair, I change the lighting. So not everything goes as planned, usually. Oh wow, so many questions are coming in. So Katie, what's your favorite lens to use? At the moment, I love to use my fisheye a lot, but I use the Sigma lens a lot as well. I like to use 50mm for portraits as well. Carl, you showed us the trigger that you have pressed to focus while you're in the pose, but how do you ensure that the camera is focusing on the part of the face and body that you want to be in focus? Yes, so what I do, well, yeah, what I do is like I go behind, like I look through the viewfinder and make sure that the focus point is where my head will be, because I've been taking self portraits for so many years now that I know how tall I am and where my face will be approximately. And I usually shoot in like my aperture is quite open as well, so everything is more or less in focus. I hope that made sense. Emily asked if there is a style of photography you haven't explored but want to. Is there? So I did quite a lot, but I've never done wildlife. I would love to go on a safari. Actually, I was looking that up the other day. I would love to go to Tanzania on a safari to take some wildlife photographs of animals. That would potentially be another style of photography that I would like to get into. That would be fun. Gary asked you, do you use different lenses? So yes, again, I use so my Sigma lens, which is a 24-105. Yes, 24-105. Then I use the fisheye lens. I have a 35mm. I have a 50mm. What else do I do? Do I have? I think that's it. I have 4 different lenses. And Gary said, have you used eye detection in the camera? No, I haven't. I'm not sure if my camera has that. I've never went into that. So, yeah, I'm not sure. So I've never used it, no. Let me refresh. Maria Paz, it's not a boring question, but is your camera a Nikon? If so, what fisheye lens is it? I use Nikon. Yes, my camera is a Nikon. It's a Nikon D810. Sorry. My fisheye lens is I don't know the brand. and I am not sure where it is. It's like packed in my drawer of equipment, and it will probably take too long to dig it out. Uh, but it's not a Nikon one, and it used to be quite cheap, but now it's a bit overpriced, and most fisheye lenses are overpriced at the moment. But it's a Japanese brand. Um, yeah, you might see the brand on the video. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. Um, maybe you can send me a message on Instagram, and I'll let you know what the brand is. Let's see other questions. I think that's all the questions. Um, yeah. Um, okay. Sorry, guys. Thank you for watching, and hope you had a nice session, and have fun with the rest.